Hello, everybody. My name is Kim O'Hara, and I'm an intuitive book coach with my company, A Story Inside. And today I am so thrilled to be talking with one of my amazing book clients, Kelly Bradley, who has finished her book and is ready to talk about it with us today. It's very exciting. She's on the verge of looking for a publisher. She's gone through multiple drafts of her book. And so we're going to have a lot of amazing insights to discuss in writing a book and deciding to write a book. How are you today, Kelly?
I'm awesome. Thanks for having me.
I'm so happy you're here. And you came to me through actually a mastermind with the amazing Carrie Murphy. I had spoken on her mastermind in one of her calls. And from what I understand, when you heard me talk about writing books, you had the gift of desperation. And that's often what people come to me with. It's that time, like it's the now to write the book. And that's what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about. From what I understand from the very get-go, it was time for you to write about what you've been through with your mom. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
It was, and I'll kind of go back a little bit and share the day that my mom said to me, "Honey, you need to write a book." It was an awful day, awful, awful, awful. And she was physically very ill, and I was struggling to try to get her into the car to get to a doctor's appointment, and just whatever could go wrong did go wrong. And she just looked at me and like she could have been crying, but she just looked at me in the face and said, "Honey, you have to write a book. Like you can't make this stuff up." And that was many years ago. And I guess working in senior care for years and looking forward to the future and wanting to inform people more about how I can help them, how I can spare them from going through what I went through was really what got me to write the book. Finally.
Finally, right? From when your mom had said that, but you had been through a lot of health challenges with your mom. And in the book, it's almost like you're an expert because there's really nothing your mom did not suffer through, with you right by her side through all of it, and your family, which you were very fortunate to have some supportive family. When you came to me, it's interesting. You're not a writer by trade. And you came to me and you were like, "I'm not a writer." But it's so interesting. You never really complained about not being a writer. And that made the process, you're a doer, right? So I think the fact that you're a doer trumped the fact that you're not a writer, because you're like, "I just got to get this done. I got to get this story." Where have you grown as a writer? Because now you've written a whole book, 3 drafts of a book. So how would you say you've grown as a writer?
Well, I think that's an interesting question. And what I find myself even doing now in my day-to-day writing, whether that's a blog post or even a simple email, I'm, thinking about how I structure the sentence. What does this mean? Is this proper? Don't say it that way. Think through it again. And going through all those iterations of having to write the book forced me to be more disciplined in that craft. And by no means am I an expert, but I think I'm a lot better than I was when I started. So if nothing else, I learned a ton from it.
And you've had some powerful writings here. Even I've seen the growth. I've seen the growth of you willing to go deeper into the emotion, deeper into the experience, use more, adjectives, get away from it or generalities.
This.
Grow this. Something might be it. I'm like, we don't know what that means. And yet there also was like a fatigue factor too, because you were selling an entire in-home care business while you wrote the book. And there were, I think, some days that you just were like, another one of my clients called it like having to get her homework in on time to the teacher, these deadlines. Were the deadlines helpful in terms of, not falling into procrastination? If you've been writing the book by yourself, what do you think would have happened?
It wouldn't be done. It just wouldn't be done. And I think it's important also that the deadlines aren't just deadlines, but this is a relationship that you enter into. Mm-hmm. And so it's personal respect. I mean, you're here supporting me and I need to get my work done, and you're dedicating your time and your effort to be there for me. And if I don't do my part, it's not, it's a two-way street.
It is a two-way street. Exactly. It is a collaboration, right? Because if you don't show up, then I can't do my work, and I can't, and I'm here and I'm available to do that. What I loved most about the process with you that doesn't always come up with every client, was that as you were writing, you had a different company name, and you had almost a different company direction, because you were really just sort of entering into this new phase where you were going to break away from your in-home care company and you were going to start this business helping caregivers that are sons and daughters. And as you were writing, it dawned on us, and this was, a collaborative effort where it dawned on us that the name of the company was wrong, and that your market was actually more intimate and emotional than you had realized. Can you tell a little bit about that process?
Sure. When I started this, I was identifying, I guess is a better word, myself as the oldest sister in the family, and reflecting back on my grandmother was the oldest sister and my mom was the oldest sister. And so this makes a lot of sense. But when I would tell people the name of the company, they just kind of looked at me a little bit puzzled, like, what is that? As I started writing, I realized I am a sister and I am the oldest sister, but this was about being a daughter. This was about showing up in service as a daughter. And that's the place where I think most people are coming from as daughters and sons, and supporting their parents. So now when I say to people, the name of the company is called The Devoted Daughter, they just go, oh, that's so cool. Wow. And they automatically identify with it. They know what I'm talking about. It's just a much easier, the light bulb goes on for them.
And the pain point that you're serving is the sons and daughters that are now having to take care of their aging parents who have dementia or, a litany of aging issues, and that feel incredibly alone, incredibly burnt out. They don't know how to take a break. They don't know how to ask for help. And you have something called Circles of Care, right? Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah. The general concept with the Circles of Care is really just, on the outside of the circle, you have people that are known to you that you interact with. And as you get closer to the center of that circle, you have the people that you call in the middle of the night. And that's an example of the family and the people circle. But there are other circles that intersect with one another at different times. So you might need help with technology or help with education or help with other things. And as those circles intersect, you look at it a little bit differently. And what we do at Devoted Daughter is not linear. Aging is not linear. One day things can be great, and the next day they go to hell. So you really have to have the support and structure things for yourself and your family so that you have the tools you need to respond when you need to respond.
And something I always say about the authors that come to work with me is that they're dealing with a pain point. They have suffered some kind of trauma. And the trauma for you was, your mom got sick when she was in her 40s. And basically you were the main caregiver for a very, very long time. And then you had this in-home care company where you were also able to help hundreds of families. And so you're an expert, you're a radical expert in this field. So if somebody that read this book, they're not just going to read a book from someone that's like a statistician that's come up with a bunch of ideas on how you could better help your elder parents. You have the on the ground hours put in on an emotional level, but also as a company owner. And that's what makes you so brilliant. And that's why you had to write this book, because, you have to get this information out to lots of people. What would you say changed for you personally in writing these stories about your mom and writing these stories about your family, the families you worked with? Because you have a lot of families that you worked with and stories in the book. What did you kind of see after you wrote the book about yourself?
I think, I gave myself permission to be okay with what happened. And I'm the kind of person that wants to organize and control and, make things happen in the right order. And this is something you just have to do your best. You do your best, you give it what you can. And at the same time, you have to take care of yourself, which is super hard to do. But I feel like at the end of the day, when I got done with the book, it was like, we did our best. We all did our best. Right. We gave my mom the gift of family and love, and we did our best.
And there was closure for you, right?
we couldn't fix it. There was just, it's not a fixable thing. But being there is a gift.
It was. And now that you have that closure and you're able to have felt some of those feelings about what it was like and what everybody went through, you're able to serve other people. Would you say that that was one of the most challenging parts of writing the book, is having to go back a little bit into some of those memories?
Yeah, because you got to dig up all that stuff. And it's like, oh, that was a bad day. That was not good. I remember my niece Sadie saying, I think she was like 3 or 4 at the time, and she was with my mom. My mom was really sick, and she was just wandering around going, this is not good. This is not good. And out of the mouths of babes,
Right.
little tiny kid going, this is problematic. So.
And you're doing workshops, is that correct?
We are, which is really exciting, because I think you don't know what you don't know. And so for a lot of people, just starting to dig into this and break it down, I think we all take in content differently. So one of the things that we are trying to accomplish at Devoted Daughter is to do the workshops, to do video, to do some writing, to allow people to take the information in when they can, and also in a way that's useful for them and their families.
So you can help people at all stages, but you really prefer that they start to work with you and get to know you and get the information sooner. It's sort of like, be aware that if your parents are showing signs that they might need help, get involved now. Don't wait until the last minute and then panic when everything's really overwhelming. Start to get the information. And I think this service should be available to everybody that is going to have a parent that's going to get older. We're all going to need this help, and we're all going to need this information, and it is very overwhelming. Well, you've done a beautiful job writing your book. I'm really excited about it getting published. Please give everybody your website where they can find you, and are there any other workshops? You just said that you're based in Oregon, so you're doing workshops there, but are there any in the works to come to California or any other places in 2019?
Yes, and actually I'll give you the website. It's thedevoteddaughter.com.
Okay.
And on the website, we'll also have a calendar of events. So workshops that are upcoming, whether they're in the Portland area or across the country, will be noted there, and you can sign up for those there. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited to get out and just meet with other folks. And that was one of the things that was really rewarding with the in-home care business was, you really get to meet with people and make a difference in their lives.
Absolutely.
And I want to continue that work.
Yeah, and you're a wonderful speaker, and you're very efficient. So I would feel very good with you on my team if I needed the care. So people will go to the Devoted Daughter. The book is going to be available there probably maybe in 3 months or so, maybe early 2019.
Yeah, early 2019, maybe, and possibly end of 18, but we'll see.
So they should get on your mailing list, because you're going to have information that's going to go out about the book. This is a book that everybody needs to have, absolutely full of information. And it's been wonderful working with you, and I look forward to seeing where your company grows. So thank you for taking your time today and sharing your wisdom and expertise.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye now.